All right, time for lesson 7.5, the coordinate plane. I can locate and plot points in the first quadrant of the coordinate plane. And that's what you need to write down tonight for your I can statement. Let's get started. Okay, so when we look at a coordinate plane, and you might have heard these referred to as a coordinate grid, okay, is formed by the intersection of a horizontal number line called the x-axis, horizontal here, here's the letter X, this is your x-axis, and a vertical number line called the y-axis. So here's your y-axis right here, okay? Some other vocabulary we're going to take a look at as we go through this, okay? So this thing here is called the coordinate plane, okay? Or coordinate grid, as I'm sure you've heard it referred to in your previous years in 4th grade, okay? So an ordered pair is used to describe the location of any point in the coordinate plane, okay? So for example, the ordered pair 9, 5 describes the location of point A. Okay, so 9, 5, and we're going to go through this in the next slide, but whenever we look at ordered pairs, the first number tells us how far over we move, the second part tells us how far up we move. So we move over 9, so we go up to 9 and we go up 5, and this is where we would find point A on our coordinate grid. Okay, the first coordinate represents a distance along which axis, so I just went over that. The first coordinate represents the distance along the x or horizontal axis. The second coordinate represents the distance along the y or vertical axis. Okay. The origin of the coordinate plane is at point 0, 0. Why is the origin an important point? Well, let's talk about that. Okay. So right here, 0, 0 is this corner right here. Okay. It's important because that's our starting point. Anytime we're going to start to use ordered pairs to figure out where to plot points, then we got to know where we're starting. Okay, so to plot or locate a point in the coordinate plane, you have to begin or start at the origin. So every time what that means is you're going to start at 0, 0 before you start moving. Okay, as you get more advanced with this too, you'll start to see this is only 1/4 of the coordinate plane. There are 3 other quarters, but we're really not going to get into that this year, but they do work with negative numbers as well. All right, so let's go with this part. I can locate and plot points here by knowing where the points are on this coordinate grid. So it says, where is point B? Okay, well, I want to remember when I'm looking at this, whenever I'm plotting points on a coordinate plane, and you want to write this down in your math notebook, this purple box, write these words down. I will be looking for them when I grade these as well, okay? The first number tells you how far to move over. The second number tells you how far to move up. Okay, so when I look at point B, I have to look here. I'm going to go on point B. Now remember, I'm thinking I got to move over first. So if I moved over across this x-axis, here is 3. Okay, I would also, in this case, move up 3. So my ordered pair is going to be 3, 3. And here's a little hint for this. The word over comes before up alphabetically, so go over first. You can also look at it from the same way x comes before y. Go over x before you go up y. Okay, so 3, 3 is our first pair there. Our second ordered pair, we need to go to point C. So remembering that I'm going to come over first to the line where C is, that's going to be 9. And then I would go up to line 10 to find it. So 9, 10 would be my ordered pair for point C. For point D, I've got it here, so I'm going to come over to point 8 and I'm going to go up 1. So 8, 1 is my ordered pair there. And for point L, I don't have to go over at all. I just have to go, so that's going to be 0. That's that origin point. I'm going to go over 0 and I'm going to go up 7. Okay, I've left these next 4 blank because these are going to be your practice problems for tonight. So for practice problems, I want you to write down 7, 8, 9, and 10. Write down point M and then put the coordinate pair that goes with those. All right. We are going to look at one more page, but make sure you pause the video so you can copy those down. I want the number and the point here, and then I would like to see the ordered pair in a set of parentheses just like you see modeled here. Okay. So here is where we're going to kind of wrap things up today. And this is talking about plotting and points and drawing lines. Okay, so now they give you a blank coordinate grid and they want you to plot a point at 1, 10 and label the point A. Okay, so I'm going to run through this just to give you an example. You'll be doing something very similar with this with your seat work. Okay, so since point A is it, I'm going to go, first number tells me I've got to go over 1 and up 10. So I'm going to plot my point there, and then it says to label the point A. So I'm going to put a letter A next to it. Yes, I know my dots are really big, but I want to make sure you see them. It's where that intersection of those two lines come together. Then I have to go over 1 and up 7 to plot my next point. Okay, and I have to label that with the point B. Then it says I have to go over 8 and up 10. Whoops, I missed my mark there. I went over 7. Over 8 and up 10. That's going to be point C. And then I have to go over 8 and up 7 for point D. Now I have to connect all the points to form a quadrilateral. So I'm just going to draw some lines here to do that. And now I've created a quadrilateral of a four-sided shape. You're also going to have a question very similar to this on your seat work tomorrow. Okay, it says use subtraction to find the lengths of AB and AC. And at first that might seem a little confusing. Okay, what they're talking about is the distance between point A and point C. So how do I figure that out? Well, I know to point C, if I move across the x-axis, that's 8. Point A is at point 1, so I'm just going to do a very simple subtraction problem. Okay, whoops, I'm sorry, I did that the wrong way. Same rules apply. AB, okay, so point AB, you go up 10 for A, and you go up 7 for B, so I take 10 minus 7, that equals 3. Let me go back to the original one now. I go over 8 here, 1 here. So the length, what this is telling me is the length between A and C is 7 units long. We don't know what the units are in this case, so 7 is fine for this. Here, from A to B, this is 3 units long. That's all we're doing when we figure this out. So when you have to use a subtraction problem, this is what they're looking for. How far over is the first point minus how far over is the other point, and that gives us our total distance. And that's it. We'll see you in class.